Okay, well, moving on, let's now talk about earnings, and we have Mahindra Holidays that has delivered its second quarter numbers. Interestingly, despite COVID, the numbers don't look that bad. Revenue growth has been pretty healthy. Now what we'd like to be interested in knowing is what's the trajectory of demand pickup, what's the outlook on margins, is the international business as well gaining traction? We have with us Kavinder Singh, the MD and CEO of Mahindra Holiday. Mr. Singh, thank you so much for joining us. So to start with, despite the pandemic, I think your revenue growth seems to be pretty healthy. So take us through what aided the performance.
So this quarter for us was a very satisfying quarter, and actually I just want to mention that we are not a traditional hospitality player. Our business model is an extremely unique and resilient business model, and the strengths of our business model truly came into play in this quarter. So let me recount the highlights of the performance of this quarter. Our profit before tax was up by about 65% at about 45 crores, with the margin improvement also at about 1,000 bits. If I look at our profit after tax, that was up by about 88%, and also the margin improved significantly by 900 bits. Now, all this happened while our resorts were opening in a staggered fashion. As you know, that the unlock process started in mid-June, and we have opened our resorts in a phased manner, and we have currently 52 resorts operational. Was up by about 65% at about 45 crores.
All right. Mr. Singh, there must have been a slowdown in member additions. What's the outlook on the member base during this time?
So as far as member addition goes, member additions this quarter have been satisfying. We have been able to add about 2,681 members. Of course, if I were to compare it with Q1, this is more than 100% increase. And the best part is that most of our member additions are now happening on video calls. In fact, that has brought in some efficiencies in our system also. And as you know, in our business, there is a face-to-face selling, and that was prevented in Q1, and therefore in Q1 we had delivered only 1,270 members additions. But the good part for us is that even if there is one odd quarter where the member additions are lower, the cumulative member base of 260,000 plus ensures that our incomes keep flowing in, which are the annuity incomes that I talked about earlier. Talking about member additions, we had also launched a very innovative product called GoZest. It was a 3-year tenure product during Q1. It met with very good response at that point of time. But we have a portfolio strategy. We would like to sell not only GoZest, which is a 3-year product, we have also a 10-year product called Bliss for seniors. And also we have a product which is our traditional high tenure product called 25-year Club Mahindra product. And we have seen huge interest in the 25-year product as well in Q2. So the tide is turning. People are looking at holidays. And the good news is that the holidays unfortunately cannot be done virtually, as long as we are able to inspire confidence. And my belief is that in these times, people are looking for trusted brands. So when they find a trusted brand like Club Mahindra, there is an opportunity for them to become a member of this club and enjoy the benefits that we give to our club members, as I mentioned earlier. And that is what is helping us to gain momentum in member additions. And I believe that member additions will only grow stronger as we move into this quarter and beyond.
So how do you see the margins shaping up going ahead?
So margins, this quarter has been a very interesting story. We have seen probably one of our best margins, profit before tax at about 21.6% and profit after tax at about 15.5%. So this has been a very big improvement in margins over the last, same period. As I was mentioning earlier, 1,000 bits improvement in profit before tax and about 877 bits improvement in profit after tax. I think margins are a function of two things in our business. One, of course, the income growth. As I mentioned to you, that our resort income was impacted in Q2 because the resorts were slowly opening up one by one, in line with the restrictions easing off. So margins will improve as the income grows. However, the costs will also grow, the variable costs, and we were able to also do a very tight control on the variable cost. I must hasten to add that in this quarter we have had a benefit of lease rental waivers on our resorts, which also helped us boost the margin. And the way it works in our business is that as we move forward, while the annuity income will keep coming, we will manage our costs of acquisition as well as the fact that lease rentals will once again come into play. They will be offset by the income increase in the resort income. So I do see margins have expanded disproportionately because of the lease rent waivers that we got, which is a one-off phenomenon. But overall, there is a tightening of sales and marketing expenses as well as the other expenses, which includes travel, etc., including the energy, because the resorts were partially operational. All these things will change as we move forward, but I believe they will change for the better.
So you have been actively acquiring a lot of resorts and companies and adventures for sports programming providers, Rock Sports in the latest. What is the 6.7% stake worth? What is the rationale for this?
So it's a small investment of about 3.05 crores into a startup which has been in existence for some time, but of course it's a profitable startup. The good part that we found in this great Rock Sport company is that the founders are extremely passionate about adventure sports, and when I say adventure, as we call it, soft adventure, and therefore suited for families. So whether it is a rock climbing, which is actually a soft stuff which is made, so it is not risky. And the good part is that they, in their business development, have been able to very successfully run this program for the schools in almost key metros in the country, and they have had contact with the school children of about 2.5 lakhs or thereabouts. And the fact that they are into outdoor programs, and I believe that the trend for the outdoors is going to increase given the current situation and even beyond, even for the overall development. Both families as well as children would want to have outdoor programs. So our strategic rationale for getting a very small stake here is, one, to provide them growth capital, but also utilize the synergies between the two companies, because they are in a position to increase the engagement of our members at our resorts, as well as we are in a position to offer their services to our members as members want to go outdoors even while they are in the cities of their residence.
Okay, Mr. Singh, how has the international business fared, and what's the update on the acquisition for Holiday Club Sport and Spa Sweden? Any update on the opening of resorts and occupancies? What are the capacities you are operating at, and when do you think you'll be able to hit pre-COVID levels?
So I think in the Finland case, as far as occupancies are concerned, if I look at Q2, their occupancies were at the same levels as pre-COVID levels that were achieved in Q2. In fact, in some of their resorts, they achieved higher occupancies than what they had achieved pre-COVID levels same period last year. And primarily that happened because of two reasons. One, the Finnish holidaying season started around mid-June. And by the way, Finland has done an extremely good job of controlling corona. Of course, their borders, international borders, are shut. So the domestic tourism really took off, and people went into their timeshare, properties that they own. And we have obviously, since we are in the business of timeshare and one of the most respected Scandinavian European operators based out of Finland, and Finnish people are extremely, positive about holidaying. They are big holidayers, and they took to holidaying like never before. So we saw higher occupancies, we saw higher timeshare sales. So they have already reached their pre-pandemic levels in the Q2. If I look ahead, I think Q3 is normally not a seasonal quarter for them, particularly in October and November, and the December onwards the season picks up, and then it goes all the way to March. Yeah, at this point of time, they do not have international tourists, but the good news is the Finland domestic tourism has picked up, as I mentioned, like never before. So we are very happy with the fact that our Finland operations, which includes Sweden and Gran Canaria, Spain, have actually turned around in this quarter from a loss of about 6 million euros to a positive profit before tax of about 0.35 million euros. So it's a big turnaround. They are back in the game, and they are already hitting their pre-pandemic levels.
Okay, Mr. Singh, you had plans to add 1,000 rooms, which would entail a capex of 8 to 900 crore rupees over the next 4 to 5 years. Are these plans on track?
So I think the plan has changed for the better. We are looking to do now about 1,300 to 1,500 rooms. We want to invest about 1,200 to 1,300 crores over the next 4 years' time. Therefore, we are today at about 3,700 odd room units. We would like to cross the number 5,000 in about 3 years' time. So we believe that this is an opportune time for acquisitions. This is an opportune time to actually continue with our capital expenditure program. I must hasten to add that even in this year, we would be launching our 4th resort in Goa, which is about a 150 room resort sometime in the Jan-Feb-March quarter. We are also expanding our resort in Kerala, and as we speak, we are likely to break ground in a very beautiful resort that will come up in a place called Ganpati Phule. Plus, in Shimla Kandaghat area, we are looking to expand our existing resort. So our capital expenditure plan is already in play. Land acquisitions are already in play, and we are going ahead with both the build, buy, as well as leasing strategy that we have followed. And we will only accelerate our investments in our resorts because we believe there is a huge market. I have mentioned probably earlier that we are extremely underpenetrated in our country. Only 2% of the target households have actually a vacation ownership membership like Club Mahindra. So we are looking at future with optimism because the domestic tourism in India is going to take off as a result of the current situation. And as it is, the drivable destinations are popular. 80% of our resorts are drivable, and we will have more drivable destinations and resorts in the near future.
Given the solid expansion plan lined up, where do you see the market leadership in RIO business strengthening from here on?
Yeah, even now, we are the undisputed leader in the vacation ownership space. By the way, if I add the Finnish acquisition that we did, which includes Sweden and Spain, we are 100 plus resorts in the country and internationally, which includes Asia, Europe, and US. So we are the 6th largest vacation ownership player in terms of our member base, which is upwards of 300,000. We are anyway global, and we believe that with these expansions that we have in mind, and the plans that are in play, it is only going to strengthen our position as the #1 leisure hospitality services provider in the country and hopefully someday in the world.
So, encouraging sign that you've opened up about 20 resorts on July 31st. Are customers checking in? What is the timeline before you get back to full operations?
So our resorts progressively started opening from mid-June. Currently, we have 52 resorts operational. As on September 30th, we had 37 resorts operational. We will have the balance. We are left with about 6-7 resorts now to open, and they are opening as we speak, as the Unlock 5 goes on. We should be fully operational by October end, early November. So we are seeing occupancies which are rising month on month. As I mentioned, 41% in September. October is even better. And as I look forward into November and December, which is traditionally a good season for us, we see the occupancies rising. And I would like to, mention that we have two advantages. One, of course, we have a 260,000 member base who are wanting to holiday at our beautiful resorts, 58 of them in India. And more importantly, the Travel with Confidence and the Safe Stay program, Club Mahindra Safe Stay program, is giving them enough confidence. And in these times, people are looking to go for the brands that they trust. And since we have been a trusted brand for more than 23 years, now we are in our 24th year, this is definitely helping us to grow our occupancies into the next quarter.
Thanks so much, sir, for taking out time for us. Always good to get perspective. On that note, we are taking a break, coming back quickly, but don't go